Hey everyone, it's Coach K. Today's lesson is over 2.1 conditional statements. So the first thing we're going to talk about is our P and our Q. So our P is our hypothesis. And our Q is our conclusion. It is also our if-then statement. So if P, then Q. So if I'm looking at it right here, an example is a conditional statement is a logical statement with two parts, a hypothesis and a conclusion. If the shape has three sides, then it is a triangle. So here's our if and then our then statement. If this, then that. So if you look at the next one, if you're in Dallas, then you're in Texas. So we have an if-then statement. The next one we're going to do is negation. Remember, negation means the opposite. So if it's positive, it's going to be negative. So to do the opposite of the original statement, if I look right over here at the tilde with the P, this right here means not. If not P, then this means not Q. Okay? So then write this statement as a negation. An angle is a right angle. So to negate it would be an angle is not a right angle. So let's do the next one. Today is Saturday. So remember, we have to put the word not in there. Today is not Saturday. So we have our negation. So negate means the opposite. So you're going to put the not. And remember, two negatives make a positive. So if you have not, you can't do not. All right, so the first statement that we have is a conditional statement. It is the original statement. That's where you make all the changes from, is from your conditional statement. If you are a guitar player, then you are a musician. Here is your P, and here is your Q. So if you look at it, your symbol is if P, then Q. If you are a guitar player, then you are a musician. When I think about that, if you are a guitar player, you are a musician. So your answer is true. So let's do the converse. The converse is slightly a little different. Okay, it's the same thing, but it is switched. So we're doing if Q, then P. So when I'm writing this time, what I'm going to do is if you are a musician, then you are a guitar player. So let's talk about the truth value of this. So if you're a musician, then you're a guitar player. That means every single person that is a musician plays guitar. Is that true or false? That is a false statement. So now let's do the inverse. The inverse says to negate it. Okay, so negate it. So we're going to take the conditional statement, if not P, then not Q. So we're taking the beginning part and we're adding the word, what is it? Not. So negate means not or opposite. Okay, so right here we take our conditional statement and we're going to take the opposite of it. If you are not a guitar player, then you are not a musician. So now let's look at the truth value. With a truth value, is that a true statement or a false statement? If you're not a guitar player, then you're not a musician. That is a false statement also. Okay, so now let's look at contrapositive. You're going to, on contrapositive, you're going to switch and negate. Remember what is negate? It is the opposite, or you're using the word not. But remember, you can't do not, because that two not negatives make a positive. All right? So let's do this one right here. So we're going back to our conditional statement, and we're going to switch them. So technically, if you think about it, it's going to be this statement right here, your converse statement. And then we're just adding the not. So this is, if not Q, then not P. So if you are not a musician, then you are not a guitar player. So let's think about the truth value for this statement. This statement is also true. If you're not a musician, then you're not going to be a guitar player. So that statement is going to be true. So we have a biconditional statement. In the biconditional statement, you need to put the word if and only if. So when you're writing it, you take off the first if, and then you're going to put you are a guitar player if and only if you are a musician. So it does not have a statement, and this would be actually a false statement. Your if and only if statement is when you have everything either true or everything false. So your truth value all have to be true to do an if a biconditional statement, or your truth value has to be false. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is equivalent statements. Two statements that are both true or both false. So the key word here is or, because they both have to be true or they both have to be false. So when I look back up at the other side of the notes, which two are on the truth value the same? If you said conditional and contrapositive, then you are correct. They both have the same truth value. What are the other ones? The other two have the same truth value. So every time you have a conditional statement, the contrapositive is going to be the same. The converse and the inverse. So if your converse is true, then your inverse has to be true. If your converse is false, your inverse have to be false, because they have to be the same. All right, so let's match. Take a second and match. Turn off your video. All right, so the conditional statement is going to be your original statement. The converse is, remember, you have your P and your Q. So here's your P and here's your Q. Your converse is going to be Q, then P. So you're switching it. The inverse is Going back to your conditional statement, not P, then not Q. So you're negating it because you're putting the not in there. Contrapositive is you're switching and you're negating. So not Q, then not P. Your biconditional will always have the word if and only if. Take off the first if then. All right, so what we have is we're going to write each statement for the following conditional statement. My conditional statement is if an angle is the measure of 90 or 30 degrees, that's my P, then it is an acute angle, that is my Q. So remember, your conditional statement is your P, then Q. So on the converse, it is if Q, then P. So we are switching them. So when I look at my Q, it says if it is an acute angle, so I'm going to write that same thing but put the word if in front. If it is an acute angle, then it measures 30 degrees. Then it measures 30 degrees. So now let's use the inverse. With the inverse, we're going back to our conditional statement, but we're doing the negating. So it's going to be not P, then not Q. So we're doing the same thing, but what are we only going to put in there? We're going to put the word not in there. So we have if an angle does not measure 30 degrees, okay, so I added the does not for the negation part, then it is not an acute angle. So now let's go to contrapositive. With contrapositive, we're doing the negation. So it's going to be not Q, then not P. So let's write our statement. If it is not an acute angle, then, now we're doing our Q, it does not measure 30 degrees. So just a reminder that you're going to do your P and your Q, which is your conditional statement. You have your converse, Q, then P. You're just switching your conditional statement. Remember your negation, your not P, then not Q. And then you have your not Q, then not P for your contrapositive. Now what we're going to do is we're going to write the last statement is a biconditional statement. So on the biconditional statement, what does the word biconditional mean? It means if and only if. So we're taking this conditional statement, if two angles are supplementary, then they add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to make that into a biconditional statement. We're taking off the word if at the beginning. We're taking off the word then. At the word then, you're adding if and only if. So here is our statement. Two angles are supplementary if and only if they add up to 180 degrees. So here is our lesson for today. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.